What if the most important person you will ever choose is the one you've been avoiding your entire life? This question strikes at the very heart of our existence, challenging the fundamental ways we navigate our relationships, our careers, and our sense of self. For generations, we've been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves first is selfish, that prioritizing our own needs represents a betrayal of our responsibilities to others. But what if this conventional wisdom has been completely backwards? What if choosing yourself is not an act of selfishness, but the most responsible and ultimately generous thing you can do? The renowned psychologist Carl Jung spent his life exploring the depths of the human psyche, and he arrived at a profound conclusion. We cannot give to others what we do not first possess ourselves. When we consistently sacrifice our own well-being, our dreams, and our inner truth on the altar of external expectations, we eventually have nothing authentic left to offer. We become empty vessels, going through the motions of life while feeling increasingly disconnected from our own essence. This disconnection manifests as anxiety, restlessness, and that persistent feeling that something essential is missing, even when our lives look perfectly successful from the outside. Choosing yourself begins with a simple but radical shift in perspective. It means moving from an external locus of validation to an internal one. Instead of looking to others, to parents, partners, bosses, or society, to tell you who you should be and what you should want, you turn inward and listen to the quiet voice that has been there all along. This voice knows your deepest values, your authentic desires, and the unique contribution only you can make to the world. Learning to trust this inner compass is the first and most crucial step toward living a life of genuine meaning and purpose. This journey inevitably requires facing what Jung called the shadow, those parts of ourselves we've been taught to repress or hide. Our anger, our vulnerability, our unconventional dreams, our raw power. These aspects don't disappear when we ignore them. They simply go underground, influencing our behavior in unconscious ways and often projecting themselves onto others. The work of choosing yourself involves courageously bringing these disowned parts into the light of awareness, not to eliminate them, but to understand them, integrate them, and reclaim the vital energy we've spent keeping them hidden. The process of shadow integration transforms our perceived weaknesses into sources of strength. The anger we feared becomes the capacity for healthy boundaries. The vulnerability we hid becomes the foundation for genuine connection. The unconventional desires we suppressed become the wellspring of unique creativity. This is not about becoming someone new, but about becoming more fully who you already are. Reclaiming the wholeness that was your birthright before you learned to fragment yourself to fit in. As you embark on this path of self-reclamation, your relationships will naturally begin to shift. Connections that were based on old patterns of codependency or superficial validation may loosen or fall away. This can be painful, but it's also necessary pruning. In their place, you'll attract relationships that are grounded in mutual respect and authentic connection. Relationships where you can show up as your complete self without fear of judgment. These are the connections that truly nourish the soul. Setting boundaries becomes an essential practice in this new way of being. Contrary to popular belief, boundaries aren't walls designed to keep people out. They are the clear, loving definitions of where you end and others begin. They create the necessary space for healthy relationships to flourish. When you learn to say no to what drains you, you create space for a more resonant yes to what truly aligns with your essence. This isn't about rejection. It's about discernment. Choosing consciously what you allow into your life's garden. One of the most beautiful transformations that occurs when you choose yourself is the strengthening of your intuition. That quiet inner knowing that you may have learned to dismiss becomes a reliable guide. Decisions that once felt agonizing become clearer. You develop a felt sense of what's right for you, independent of external opinions or conventional logic. This intuitive wisdom becomes your most trusted advisor, leading you toward opportunities and relationships that resonate with your soul's purpose. Living in alignment with your true self creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond your personal life. As you become more authentic, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. In a world that often rewards conformity, your commitment to authenticity becomes a quiet revolution. one that challenges the status quo simply by demonstrating that there's another way to live. This journey isn't about achieving perfection or arriving at some final destination of enlightenment. It's a continuous process of learning, growing, and course-correcting. There will be days when old patterns reassert themselves, when doubt creeps in, when the path forward seems unclear. These moments aren't failures, they're essential parts of the process. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen your commitment to yourself, to practice self-compassion, and to remember why you began this journey in the first place. The world needs people who have chosen themselves. It needs individuals who aren't looking outside for validation, but who operate from a deep, unshakable inner foundation. These are the people who bring genuine innovation, compassion, and wisdom to our communities. They're the ones who can navigate complexity without losing their center, who can listen to diverse perspectives without abandoning their own truth, and who can contribute to the world from a place of abundance rather than depletion. So I invite you to consider, what would it look like to truly choose yourself? Not in a way that ignores your responsibilities or harms others, but in a way that honors your fundamental worth and recognizes that your greatest gift to the world is your own wholeness. What dream have you been putting off? What truth have you been afraid to speak? What aspect of yourself have you been hiding from the world? The journey begins with a single step, a decision to listen more closely to your inner voice, to honor a small desire, to set a gentle boundary, to prioritize a moment of self-care. These seemingly small choices accumulate into a life of profound authenticity and purpose. The path of choosing yourself is both the greatest challenge and the most rewarding adventure you will ever undertake. It's the journey home to who you truly are, and it's a journey worth making.